Cute little sign. If it isn't Hex Cain himself.
Well, how you doing?
Sorry, I just wanted to get off a shout there. I'm doing well, partner. It's been quite some time, hasn't it?
It has indeed. Much has changed.
A little lost on the ride in, 'cause, you know, I'm getting old now, partner. I forgot where the bunny ranch was for a moment. But, especially on that little bit of ride into the front doors here, it is beautiful. She has done quite a bit with this property since the last time I've seen it.
Yeah, and probably the last time we seen it is just a house and a fence and maybe even that chicken coop down there, but the rest of it's pretty much brand new. We actually built most of this together.
Well, I have to say, bravo, bravo indeed, and I think you're about accurate. The lamppost might have just started to come up.
Yeah.
Well, I mainly got in contact with you. Here, let me shake your hand, Hex. I haven't seen you in so long.
I know it.
Glad to see you're doing well for yourself too, partner.
Yeah, I'm still alive. That's about all I can hope for these
partner,
days.
I feel about it. Much has changed on my end too, and it's just been crazy after crazy. Recently, though, life's been a little settled, and I actually just got out of Canada. This is my first day back in territory.
Canada. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's come on down to the fire with me, and we'll sit down and talk.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, we had a bit of trouble. We've been having a bit of trouble with the gang called the Pepper Creek Gang. It's it's a gang led by a government official, but it's a bunch of locals there, and we've been getting attacked for going near on a month now. It started out, just kind of spotty. I don't know how best to describe it. A few men would show up, a few women, hiding behind trees and such, and after trying to have a talk with them and run them off, and they don't listen for shit. We had to put a few of them down, and then it seems like they just kind of started coming in force. And we know they got a couple of folks there. We caught one of them the other day, had a bit of a talk with him, and he said his boss is a very important man. I don't know if that means, a man in a position of power or what have you, but I don't know. We took him to the law, because he wouldn't give us any, information that's helpful. And so when we dropped him off to the law, well, they executed him a firing squad. He requested death by firing squad instead of going to prison.
Oof.
And so, ain't getting no information out of him now.
I actually witnessed one of those in Blackwater many months ago with a dear friend of mine right at the concrete brick wall of the saloon. It's a terrible way to go out, but some choose it better than prison.
Yeah, some people, I guess, prefer their freedom over. But anyways, we kind of been on the back foot
what
there.
The bunny ranch has that's so interesting to these folks. If they don't have a beef with a particular person, then what are you producing of high interest?
Well, we have a bit of a patented product around here called bunny butter. It's a bit of a trade secret on how we all make it.
Truly beautiful. And what the heck is bunny butter?
Well, we got a couple ranch hands with delicate fingers and all, and we got a couple generational prize bunnies running around here that Miss Scholar's been raising, and we found out that if you go and you milk them and, of course, mix it with a few other things that really bring out the goodness, well, it serves as a wonderful topical ointment. It is definitely not something you want to eat. It's you meant to rub it on the skin there.
Oh, lordy. I only say this because do you remember a gentleman by the name of Thomas Greenhorn?
I've heard the name a lot,
This
but I ain't
sounds
never
like a
met the fella.
rat milk story and a half, partner. I'm just glad yours is topical and not ingestible.
No, no, nothing to be drinking or eating. That's for damn sure. It's meant to rub on the skin. It's a revitalizing, energizing, and remove about 10 years off your life there.
I might have to try this. Although I'm skeptical, I've actually started drinking a healing herb tea that was brewed by the natives. You can buy it in the public stores, and it treats me so well, partner.
Yeah, I've heard about that. It's good for the heart, I hear.
Well, I've got some forever broken bones and some damage to me, partner. I'll give you the quick run of the mill, but for quite a bit of time, about 3 months strong, I was away in captivity. A business
What?
deal down in New York City went sideways, and it was supposed to be a sting operation. My brother's law enforcement down there, and they caught on to the sting, got my load for completely free, my money, and took me off to the northern portions of Guarma, where they held me in a similar fortress to the one similar to the part of Guarma New Dakota is claimed.
Jesus Christ.
So for, I think it was the last week of about that 3-month span, there was a bit of a shootout, disagreement amongst ranks. Hair bullet went to my lock and actually released my lock. And I had one window hex. I had to leave. I had to run into the woods and just run as quick as I could. And I ended up eventually getting to civilian land of New Dakota, and one of the traveling citizens that was looking to do a vacation out on the beaches there actually gave me the money to come home.
God damn. It's fortunate you ran into that person.
Well, that was about right around when I lost my fiance at the time and met Ani Ruko. I don't know if you know her, but she's an investigator of this territory. I've known her for a magnitude of years, but she's actually off in an investigation in Saint Denis right now. We've become partners, actually.
I met her one time back when I was at the camp at Blackwater, but I ain't seen her since.
Well, when I got back, we kind of talked. We said to each other how important we were in our lives, and just that we always had to come home to Blackwater to each other. After that, she's been pretty harsh into her investigations. I knew once we agreed to that, she would run off to do something. A bit of confidence under her belt, if you will.
Of course.
Well, I had a business proposal via letter dropped on my desk in my store from the government officials out in Canada requesting to meet with me in the lands that we've claimed New Dakota in, to actually socialize, conversate with their mountain police. They now establish themselves as the Northwest Mountain Police and commonly referred to by citizens as Mounties. They've just now started to wear red uniforms, actually.
Huh.
With this,
I ain't seen any just yet.
With this, they were more northern Canada, out of New Dakota range. Government officials are getting a little concerned, though. You know, a government body having almost a militia style at the border. Would it not concern you?
Well, yeah, I reckon we kind of, I mean, what, shit, 2 states over from that, you know, we don't go up there too often. Used to. I did a bunch of hunting up there, but
Bitter cold up there,
it wouldn't
partner.
be bothering us. Out here, shit, we're so far away from major towns that we don't even go to the law now for our problems for the most sake, and we just kind of handle our own. The ranchers are kind of banded together to look out for each other.
Well, for the past month, I've been at the Regina, actually crafting weapons for them, watching them train, teaching some of their gunsmiths how to craft weaponry. And the reason why solely is because of the profit I've made. I made out like a bandit as a U.S. citizen training the semi-police force, man, of Canada.
Well, good. Got a little bit of money in your pocket from it?
About $200,000 worth.
Good God. Yeah, I'd say that's pretty lucrative business.
Well, and it was a large operation. They were starting to supply the materials. I was spending days on ends just at crafting benches and running classes on how to teach people how to craft.
Well, damn, all right.
But I just got back today. I started to hear some of this, and I wanted to stop by. My bones feel so brittle, partner. My age is getting up there now, and I don't know if you noticed a little bit on the walk over here. I walk with almost that veteran-style walk. I'm just leaning forward and kind of, clunky on my feet, if you will.
Yeah.
Especially after being in that cage. I've never felt so powerless in my life.
Yeah, I can imagine. I can't say I haven't been through anything like that. Usually, if I'm facing some kind of issue, it's a face-to-face confrontation, not so much captivity, you know?
But I've been quite out of news, partner. I started to hear some of this about the Bunny Ranch, not only wanting to offer my assistance. I'm surprised to see you're still even alive, partner, not gonna lie to you. And, Scarlet, all this is quite a move on the statement of New Dakota, though. You've got a brand, you're producing, the ranch has got quite the hands and quite the staple on the land itself. And as I was riding through, it seems like Ammo Ranch has got quite a bit more business.
Yeah, they ended up putting that house on the market there for people, and well, since that's happened, I've seen probably 3 groups come and go out of there. They decide they want to claim that property as theirs, and they'll be there for a few weeks, and then another crew come run them out. And the newest group in there calls themselves the Cocaine Cowboys, and they've been harassing folk in the local area. So me and a couple of the boys, we went down there and had a conversation with them, and after a bit of a heart-to-heart and a wall-to-wall counseling session, the leader there came to the conclusion that maybe they need to change how they do things to people, and well, we'll see how that goes going forward.
I can see you're as swift with your diplomacy as you are your bullets, per usual, Hex. It looks like time hasn't even touched you, partner.
Oh no, I feel like I'm slowing down a little bit. The blood's cooling at the very least, but nah, just, we want to make sure that the people around here are as safe as can be, because we pretty much stay neutral out of any problems that folk have. We have a lot of friends, and we like to keep it that way. And when people start making problems for folks around here, especially people that just hardworking folk, not trying to bother nobody, well, we got the manpower to step in and try to course correct those folks.
Not only am I quite literally seeing it, but I almost targeted on neutralism out of you. My business entity itself is starting to become very similar, not only selling guns to pretty much anybody and everybody nowadays, but certain criminal organizations, particularly the family and our colorful history, will start to do material deals and other things like that. My organics of my business are very gray nowadays.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you can't really be picky about who you're selling stuff to, else you're gonna go hungry.
Absolutely, and
what people do with the tools, whether they hunt with a rifle or they go murdering with a rifle, that's on them, not the person that made it.
true, but I don't know if you noticed, there's actually serial numbers on weaponry now. Law enforcement comes to me from time to time on real big cases, wondering if they could find who purchased this weapon.
Yeah, if depending on how you want to handle that, but if you want to keep like a list, of all the weapons you made and who you sold the serial weapon to, that could come in handy when the law starts asking questions. You know exactly who you gave it to.
Oh, absolutely. I've already started keeping a ledger.
Now, that being said, I would definitely keep that bit of information to yourself, because if
Something I've
certain
always
elements and
wanted.
types know you're keeping track of that well.
I've always wanted this, though, Hex. I've always been intrigued to look on paper where my weapons are actually being sold to, where my schematics are, essentially, my statistics.
Yeah, it'd be worth having. Let me get a drink here.
I'm so unknowledgeable about the areas nowadays, though. I stopped right before storm and a little bit on my delay of getting here at the local bar in Blackwater, the one I used to own way back in the day. And the woman that runs it nowadays informs me that she just can't get over some of the explosions, the gunfire, the criminalistic conversations that happen in the middle of the streets of Blackwater. Apparently, Blackwater's looking a little black nowadays instead of gray or white.
Yeah, it's
Like a muddy,
the
muddy
county's
creek.
gotten a bit more strict on the kind of people that will wander in, but for whatever reason, we're having a bit of a problem with wizards, and then when it ain't the damn wizards, it's just criminals being pretty blatant about what they're doing. Blackwater and Valentine being the two main problems, and they also opened up a bunch of housing there in Blackwater, which has kind of made it a premier location to be for socializing.
Well, I
And
was
so
about to
people,
say I'm in the Cameron now with Ani.
yeah. And so inevitably, if you go there, either it's there's just too many people and you got to get out of there, or you'll go and inevitably hear a bunch of dynamite and gunfights going off, and it's a daily occurrence at this point.
This woman was from Saint Denis and she almost longed for it. Said that the town is even getting better than when she left it, with the public market coming in. And I've actually shopped at it recently. You gotta think I browse
Really?
commonly for scrap metal, alloy steel, things like this. And the public markets are always my first place I hit, Hex, because it's just the quickest. It's the swiftest. Most of my day is spent diplomatizing with people. When I started this business, I was crafting my own damn materials.
Damn.
So
Yeah,
with this,
things have changed. Now you can't be doing that so much.
if I can cut a corner, I usually stop at the public market first and buy in bulk.
Yep. Yeah.
But what's going on with this portion of the territory, the northern end of New Dakota?
Well, as per the usual, we got the weasels out northeast, out by Ennisburg and Van Horn. We got the family, as you know, ain't too far away, and they got their own thing going on right now. And we've been dealing with the range war against the Pepper Creek gang. Cocaine cowboys moving into Emerald Ranch after JoJo Cortez and his boys moved south out towards Thieves Landing. Now, there's a rumor that he's off to Tahiti, but there's also rumor that he's not. I don't know where that stands, but I know he was running afoul of the law for a little while. And but outside of that, I mean, it's pretty quiet out here. We don't ever get bothered. We had someone get robbed, or well, someone was trying to rob him right out front of the ranch here, and all the boys were sitting around the fire and just rushed out there and, well, put an end to that at shotgun point. And yeah, we kind of just police our own area here, and because the law can't really be counted on a lot of the time to get out here because it's just so far away.
I was about to say, it sounds like the North staying pretty true to its roots then.
Yeah, kind of wild country still.
Interesting. I would have to say, certainly down south, a particular individual and a group. I don't know the group's name, but I've caught the name of the individual. Again, I've been socializing a little bit in town. I've actually met quite a bit of new folks, people that are trying to figure out what they want to do for occupations and lifestyles and stuff, but mainly at the public markets. But keep hearing this damn name, though, the Beehive Kid. Who the heck is this guy, and why is he stirring up so much ruckus down in the south, particularly New Austin area? Such a dear sister of ours.
Well, I don't know. I've never heard of his name before. This is the first time I've ever heard of it.
Huh. Apparently there's an individual going by the name of the Beehive Kid, and he's just a rowdy young criminal. Howdy there, partner.
Don't mind me. I gotta get me some of this stew here.
How's it going?
I don't think I've ever met you before, partner, and doing well.
I don't believe so.
Name's Perno Mancuso. I'm actually the arms dealer down in Blackwater. Hex and I have known each other for many of years now.
Said your first name was Pernal?
Perno Mancuso.
Alrighty. Well, my name's Richard Jones. I'm just a farmer out here.
Well, it's a pleasure to meet you, and let's put it this way. Any friend of Hex's is a friend of mine indeed, and I'm glad that you're doing business on the property. I was actually just commenting on how much of a staple this is on the land, and it sounds like you guys got quite the industry running for yourselves.
Yeah, we have a lot of people working at Bunny Ranch, you know. A lot of ranchers, a lot of farmers. Got a good variety, you know. Not everyone doing the same thing.
See, that's rather interesting to me. I've always ran my corporation with the particular folks I need to actually succeed in the operation. I never ran a freelance op where you have multiple departments, maybe one or two at max.
Right.
But no,
Yeah, it's kind of self-contained for the most part. We got two types of people around here. We got ranch hands, and then we got contractors. Ranch hands are like folks like Mr. Richard who live here, work here. You look out for the ranch and look out for the people who work here. Kind of on the inner circle, so to speak. And then we got contractors, which is things like wagon drivers and people who just need a job every now and then to get some money in their pocket, as we tend to pay considerably higher here at the Bunny Ranch than you would find anywhere else in the county. And we moving roughly about $50,000 to $80,000 a day, just in wagon deliveries, running in and out of here. We got drivers we see every day. Sometimes we get new folk. A lot of new people to the county, which is kind of nice because we can kind of teach them and what have you. Yeah, churning out the bunny butter, and also just churns of butter. We do a lot of dairy products, and the farmers help us out with that. They farm up the goods that we need because we ranchers need the animal feed. They grow that and make that, and they get the money in their pocket for that. Or anytime we need the ingredients there for the old bunny butter, they grow all them up as well. And it's just kind of a self-contained little situation here.
Well, and you certainly got a nice enough fence for it. Come on, I'm kidding. No, nothing. Hard crowd. With this though, very interesting, and the reason why it piques my, not interest so much is just that contracting part. I've contracted people before to do jobs or such, but to be able to have a free business, be able to come in hard times and actually produce hard labor like that, I imagine it's got quite a bit of self-sufficiency to it.
It does, yeah, and honestly, ultimately the idea was a place for people who maybe don't have somewhere to go and interact with folk, or maybe they're just a little bashful. They can always come here because there's almost always someone here. Right now it's probably the quietest you'll ever see it. Usually wagons are coming going, people are working, deals being made, things like that. It's this is the lull before the storm, so to speak.
Oh, absolutely. I wouldn't even be caught awake at around these hours either, but I was just filling in Hex earlier. I've actually been in Canada for about a month, partner.
Oh, really?
I was doing a business deal with the mountain police force up there. They call themselves the Northwest Mountain Police Department, and that's pretty much trying to set up border patrol, things for Canada's infrastructure, and they decided to do quite a lucrative business deal for me. I was training folks on how to craft, actually getting materials brought to me by government officials over there. It was quite an operation.
How far away is Canada from here?
New Dakota's got certain stomping grounds there where we own parts of Canada, so to speak,
Right.
but anything past that border is Canadian government standard.
I've never been anywhere near there, so I'm pretty unfamiliar.
Actually, you'll have to take a road trip. You'll have to get the horses with the boys.
Yep, that would be fun, yeah. Got a point.
Well, let me know when you do that trip. I may be old and get cold real easy, but I'll throw on a coat.
Yeah, we might actually do that one of these days. Take everybody up there, do a camping trip for a few days.
I hear New Dakota's got, what, tobogganing or something set up there? You take a canoe down the mountain.
Yeah, I've done that a time or two. I think I'm getting a little too old for that. I've had a few bad spills out of that. I ain't so good at it.
I might get a little drunk and laugh at all the young folk, though.
There you go. Man, we'll get the boys to go down the hill in a canoe in the snow.
Yeah, count me in, I'll do it.
Let's see there.
Send me.
You got one volunteer right there. Or victim. Volunteer.
Volunteer. Victim. It's only a victim if something bad happens.
And I was just actually asking about the county a little bit. With being away for about a good month now, I don't really know much about what's been going on. I heard rumor about the Bunny Ranch, hence why I contacted Hex. And I was just talking to Hex about a particular individual that seems to be stirring up ruckus down in New Austin, a close sister to West Elizabeth, the Beehive Kid. I'm particularly interested to meet this individual, and he just sounds young and crazy. But other than that, it sounds quiet in the north and a little hectic in the south. We were just commenting on Blackwater being so highly populated and a little grayish-black nowadays. It's nefarious in nature.
Yeah, what with the dynamite and shootouts and
That particular ball woman was awfully shooken up, and I gave her $1,000, and she was almost flabbergasted by it. Didn't know what to do with herself. And I remember when I ran that ball and it was producing 5,000-10,000 per day. So I was awfully confused why she was in such a hard way.
Well, I mean, not everybody's got that business acumen. It's varying levels of skills and all that.
She's a very decrepit old little lady too.
Let's not. Well, she probably can't help that, but.
So, back onto the topic of what's been going on here at the Bunny Ranch. How drastic has things been? Do you need ammunition, weaponry? Is there any assistance? Maybe stroll by the ranch every now and again. I certainly have my own business entity to deal with, but with two such dear friends as yourself and Scarlet, I would certainly like to help in the endeavor. I volunteered for the Undead Rising, and I'm volunteering for the Bunny Ranch endeavors.
Well, it really comes down to where you're operating out of nowadays, because we don't really know when they're going to slip in here. It does happen roughly about every day, or at the very least, sporadic, day or two break, but it happens a lot. And
West
so,
Elizabeth
if you live in Blackwater, that's a ride to get over here in time.
West Elizabeth will always be home to me. Not only was it the profitable area to start out in that provided for me, but Ani holds it pretty special to her heart, actually. She traveled so far just to meet up in that town.
Yeah. Well, sometimes we get a bad feeling, or sometimes they'll leave a note and we know that we're gonna have to go hit them somewhere. If you're around, I can always send a telegram or try to round you up and take it to them there.
Absolutely, but I'm more interested in how equipped are you folks?
Well,
excuse me, fella. I don't mean to be rude, but I'm gonna need a ride out shortly, so I'll catch you around, all right?
Hey, no worries, brother.
And take care, partner. It was wonderful meeting you. What a nice individual. Seems like such a humble farmer, too.
Yeah, he's one of the newer ranch hands around here.
Kind of found his calling?
It would seem so. We got 4 farmers on the payroll that are here about every day, cycling out, growing crops, moving about 2,000 to 5,000 a day. And we use some of it in the production process and others we sell. We just opened up the market out front. Miss JJ and Gracie, they're 2 sisters working together, and they got that started. Miss Gracie does the hunting and JJ does the cooking, and Miss Scarlett donates the sweet tooth stuff there. And yeah, I mean, we honestly, we got a little bit of everything. I'm quite blown away by myself,
How you doing on ammunition stockpile?
That we can always do more on. With the tax coming about every day, we're blowing through a couple boxes of ammo. On top of that, animals population's got considerably more plentiful. So our boys are doing a lot more hunting than they used to be. So we're also going through a lot of that. In fact, I know a couple of them just recently took up the bow and arrow and getting some lessons on it, just so they don't have to burn through so much ammunition there.
So 5 to 10.
We may want to set up a supply line if you got the product.
So 5 to 10 boxes per visit at minimum.
Maybe, yeah. But of course, we'll need to let you know what kind of ammo we be using. I know I myself just picked up the Carcano again. It was my favorite gun. Haven't been using it for a while and picked it up since the hunting picked up. A lot of our boys use repeater ammo. All of us need revolver ammo, and then we got a couple boys use shotguns quite a bit. In fact, I think Gracie uses shotguns near exclusively. So I mean, we got a wide variety, but we'll put it in order so we're getting exactly what we need.
Well, what I want to try to set up here, Hex, is something that's going to wash your hand and wash my hand as well. Right now, I have all the means, accessibility, and capabilities to handle my store, essentially. Shopping through the public markets at high prices, finding stores that have inventory, and buying them completely out of everything of they own. I can handle my own on that. The other hand, though, is where you might be able to wash and help and scratch my back.
How so?
Pretty well informed and a pretty well acquainted individual with quite a few folks now. You got all this set up for yourself and made a name for yourself with Scarlet. Right now, the biggest thing I could utilize or be acquainted with is a blacksmith, a source to get scrap metal. Not even a person to supply it, just a source to create it. I can come across iron ore, things that I can use and acclimate towards a blacksmith. I just can't craft myself any of the things I would need to actually craft these things, other than having it already pre-made, purchasing it that way. So, my business proposal to you is this. Yes, absolutely. You can purchase ammunition out of me and do private deals all day long if you want. But if you come across a blacksmith, if you have a person that's particularly interested or unknown what they want to do with their lives and want to accommodate a blacksmith, this is where I can cut astronomical deals for you. I can really start to supply this ranch and fortify this ranch, not only for the pest that you're dealing with, but the individuals at hand. You're such a competent gunslinger that I'm sure most of the individuals here can at least handle themselves. So the only other thing that you need is the thing to keep them chirping. Keep the rifle or the revolver still playing its tunes. So with that, this is where I would need your assistance. I need to find a blacksmith, and a rather reliable one.
Well, I might actually have one for you. Mr. Kincaid, he's the ranch foreman around here. He also handles the financials. He's the feller that when the wagon drivers come up to get contract work, they go through him. He knows a lot of people. In fact, if I'm being honest with you, he knows everybody. He's a very big social butterfly, and he's a very straight shooter. He's an honest man. He made friends with some folk down there by Dewberry Creek. I don't know if you know where it's at. I believe it's just south of Emerald Ranch. Down there's a big group of people that call that place home for their marketplaces, but they're often there. Well, one of them, we went by there the other night, and he wears a blue jacket, handlebar mustache. He came over here and bought out a bunch of stews from our market today. His name escapes me, but he's a good man, good man. And his best friend, he's a blacksmith. They mentioned it that he does a lot of the work for them and things like that. I can get you a name this way if you want to telegram him, because he is in and about county quite often. He's pretty steady if you catch my mate in there. And
let's put it this way, Hex.
Being based out of Dewberry is convenient.
I absolutely want that name. I will indefinitely be telegramming this individual, and I can make this individual or anybody acquainted with them almost filthy rich.
Yeah, I'll get with Kincaid when he wakes up there, and he'll know exactly who it is, what the guy's name.
I've been around the territory for a long time, partner. I've been a dedicated gunsmith for a very long time now. My business entity is doing incredibly well, and it's almost self-sustaining as well. With government regulation, all I need to do is keep the damn store stocked, and Cattleman revolvers about the hardest things. I blow through those like, it's candy or a piece of a treat on a table with a child around.
Yeah.
But with this, if we could set up a business deal, a supply line, where I can take materials, I can buy materials, I have access to the things I need in life to continue my occupation even better than I already am, this bunny ranch is more than well accommodated, and the individual that is actually doing the work.
We'll see what we can do for you then. Like I said, I'll get that name to you there. And
I'm back at certain set days and whatnot that I'll probably be more active than others, but I'm home. I'm home, Hex. My store's doing decent, and I'm ready to get back to what I enjoy doing. And with such an establishment like this, such a profound name in New Dakota history almost as yourselves and Scarlets, the moment caught wind of you being around on the Bunny Ranch, at least needed to talk to you about it.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you reached out there, and we needed to catch up, and I'm glad you finally gotten back to, again, what you said you're good at.
Well, and likewise, even though I'm down in West Elizabeth, and West Elizabeth and New Austins are such dear sisters to each other, it does not mean that supply chains shouldn't be coming from north to south. This is just profitable for both ends. If I could start getting my ammunition and weaponry up here to areas where I've never sold before or had much luck selling, and then likewise you could start getting bunny butter and other things more towards Blackwater because I'm a resident there. I'd hit the stores and off times or other things. Business partnership and friendships alone could be incredibly lucrative for two very old business entities at heart.
Yeah, yeah, I absolutely agree.
And please, have you married Scarlett yet? Is she your damn significant other or what? Tell her I said hi and I hope she's doing well.
No, not yet. We just engaged still yet. We were gonna have that wedding, but what with the Pepper Creek sneaking about and attacking us all the damn time, she ain't had time to plan a wedding.
Well, let's put it this way. If we got to put a blue fortification on the outside of the bunny ranch to have this happen, I can certainly do a few telegrams.
We might have to.
We might be in
may
the
come down to
retirement
it.
category, but I think we can fend off whatever's needed.
Oh yeah, I'm sure we can.
And speaking of
I ain't dead yet.
retirement, I don't know if this particular individual has or not yet. I hear rumors she might still be around, but if you stop into Valentine and see a woman by the name of Ariana Ashland, one of the head doctors in town, tell her that Mr. Mancuso said hello, please.
Will do.
Alright, Hex, it's been wonderful catching up with you. Please tell Scarlett I said
Yeah.
hello. The bunny ranch looks not only immaculate, but it looks like a running organism. It looks like it breathes, Hex, and that's beautiful to see. Blackwater has been such a staple on my life. I also get lost at that desk, completely and utterly, and the ride up here is truly beautiful. So I would hope to do more in the future. I hope to be in this portion of New Dakota a little bit more often. And, I've gotten so used to working that I think I got to take my girl out a little more.
Yeah, it's good for the soul there. I'll be honest. Sometimes I get stuck on the ranch for days on end, and I get a little claustrophobic and have to go for a ride myself.
Oh, if it isn't at the damn desk, I'm doing business deals away. And we already told each other that we're fine with it. She's an investigator. She could be gone for months on end. But,
Right.
I don't know. Maybe I gotta hit a show. Maybe I gotta go see a site with her. I'm not much of a romantic man, so I gotta do some thinking.
Well, I'm sure you come up with something there. We got, I know lately, I don't know what is it, if it's in the water or in the air, but, there's a lot of love blossoming all over, it would seem.
Rather interesting. I'll have to pick your brain on that another day.
Yeah.
Oh, best of luck to you, Hex. I'm gonna try to get up off this seat. It's so hard getting up when I sit for long times nowadays.
No, I bet. I'm getting slow on my foot, the knees and the damn back. Well, it was an absolute pleasure. I appreciate you coming out, and it goes without saying there, but you're welcome here anytime.
It's been truly a pleasure, Hex. Please tell Scarlett I said hello, and I'll have to stop up again to socialize. As I get older, the gums get a bit more flappier, if you will.
No, I appreciate a good conversation there. And Miss Scarlett, you actually just missed her. She just unfortunately had a very, very long day, and she had to get to sleep there.
Oh,
but,
mighty understandable. If I could sleep
but
in
I'll
my
let her know
apartment
you
all
stopped
day,
by and
I
said
truly
hello.
would, though. Hex, the apartment I've got set up is almost Victorian style. It's the most comfortable setup I've ever had in life.
Well, I'm glad. Well, be safe getting back there now. There's all kinds of robbers, brigands, and bandits on the roads.
I still got my loadouts from when the undead rised. I've got a swift loadout. If anything decide to come up on me, they got a rain of bullets coming at them pretty quick.
Good to hear.
Well,
All
best
right,
of luck
I'm
to
gonna
you.
go lay my head down now.
I gotta do something similar, so best of luck to you, and I'll see you around, Hex.
Take care.